I'm really sorry if my voice sounds horrible in this video and if it keeps breaking, but I'm really ill and it's really windy outside, so sorry. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. Over the Christmas period I worked at Waterstones, and in one of the back rooms there was just this giant pile of advanced copies that had been sent from various publishers, and there was a sign above it that said, "Proof copies, please take." And this was one of the books on the pile which I had read a snippet of before and was really interested in reading. So I took the book to my manager because you had to sign them out. It was kind of like a library system in the way that it worked. And when she saw that it was this book that I wanted to take out, she said that nobody else who worked there had expressed any interest whatsoever in wanting to read it, so I could take it and I could keep it. The story follows an African American woman named Ruth who works as a nurse on a birthing ward. She comes into work one day as if it's just any other normal day. She's assigned her patient, who is a woman who had her baby overnight. So Ruth goes in to do the necessary checks on the baby, make sure that he's alright, make sure that the mother's alright, that the bonding process is going well. And after she finishes doing all of these examinations on the baby, the father kicks off and says that he wants to see her superior. So Ruth goes and gets her boss, who comes in to see what the problem is, and the father says that he doesn't want someone who looks like her touching his baby. So Ruth gets taken off dealing with this patient, and no African American nurses are allowed to deal with this family and deal with this baby, but Ruth is the only African American who works at this hospital. Through an unfortunate set of circumstances, the baby dies. That's not a spoiler, it's literally on the blurb of the book. So the baby dies, and naturally all of the fingers are pointed at Ruth. The story is told through three different perspectives. You have Ruth's, you have Turk, who is the father of the baby, and you have Kennedy, who is the lawyer who ends up representing Ruth in the court case. This book is very difficult to talk about because it deals with a very real issue. And here you have Jodi Picoult, who is a white woman, talking about the issues that a person of colour is facing from the point of view of the person who is experiencing it. She chose to write about it because situations like this are happening in the world right now, and she believes that as a white woman and as a white writer, she should use her privilege and her platform to speak out about those issues. I mentioned this book to the Feminism in YA group on Twitter. I'll leave all the links to that down below, including to Mariam, who is the creator of it. I spoke to them about it, and there were a few people who agreed with Jodi Picoult's intentions. However, there were other people who felt that it was more of an excuse and it was unfair that a person of colour wasn't able to write this story, as it is something that they have gone through themselves. They have experienced these things that are brought to light in this book. There were some people in the group who felt that it's okay to write about someone who doesn't have the same experiences as you, as long as you have researched that and you make sure that you're depicting it authentically in your work, whereas there were other people who felt that it should be solely left to the people who have experienced that, primarily if it is focusing entirely on something like culture, or experiences such as racism. It was a really difficult chat, but it was also a really good chat because it made me take a step back and reevaluate why I liked this book. It made me think about why in particular I really enjoyed this book, and I ended up looking at the character of Kennedy, who is Ruth's lawyer in the court case. Kennedy is a character who really does mean well. She does believe in equality, she believes for fighting for what's right, she does believe that what is happening to Ruth is wrong. However, she has this habit of saying things that she thinks are helping but are actually doing the opposite, and she realizes that things that she says are actually offensive. And she goes through the process of this story, interacting with Ruth and kind of relearning the correct way to approach certain situations. And I feel that as I have grown up and as I have matured, I am very much like Kennedy in that aspect, where you can say something and think that you're helping, but in actual fact you're making that person feel worse and sort of invalidating their feelings and their experiences through some other things that you say. So I feel that if you are going into this book as a white reader, then that is something that you will really connect with and really pick up on if that is something that you are actively trying to unlearn as you go through life. It was a fantastically well written and well put together story. I couldn't fault the writing at all or the progression of the story. It felt like you had enough time to get to know each of these characters, each of their backstories. And it was just really interesting how it wasn't solely from Ruth's point of view, which it so easily could have been. You get to see all of these outside factors that affect it. A lot of media comes into this as well because it blows up to be a really massive story. So you see how the media portrays these things. I think we need to talk to people from other cultures, other ethnicities, and just keep this conversation going so that eventually there will be a more loving generation of people that will grow and take over the world. I absolutely loved this book. I was really annoyed that I filmed my video for my favourite books of 2016 before I'd finished reading this, because this would have made the list, but I didn't want to go back and refilm that video. So yes, such a good book. Please go read it. Have you read Small Great Things? Have you read any other Jodi Picoult books that you think that I might like? Please let me know in the comments below, and I will be back with a new video soon. Bye!